हेलो स्टूडेंट्स एंड वेलकम टू आवर यूट्यूब चैनल रिजॉइस एजुकेशन। हम इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट 10 स्टैंडर्ड सीबीएसई के सेकेंड चैप्टर पे हैं, सेक्टर्स ऑफ द इंडियन इकोनॉमी, सेक्टर ऑफ इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटीज़। लेट अस लुक एट दीज पिक्चर्स. You will find that people are engaged in various economic activities. Economic activities यानी वो activities जिससे पैसे कमाए जा सकते हैं. Some of these are activities producing goods, some others are producing services. These activities are happening around us every minute, even as we speak. How do we understand these activities? One way of doing this is to group them, classify them using some important criteria. उसे classify किया जा सकता है. These groups are also called sectors. देखिए स्टूडेंट्स, यहाँ पे अलग अलग एक्टिविटीज़ परफॉर्म हो रहे हैं. यहाँ पे एग्रीकल्चरल एक्टिविटी परफॉर्म हो रही है, सॉरी यहाँ पे वीट की एक्टिविटी यानी कि बिल्डिंग कंस्ट्रक्शन हो रहा है. यहाँ पे स्टूडेंट्स, यहाँ पे देखो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट है, सेलिंग यूनिट है, ठीक है. यहाँ पे देखो इरिगेशन एक्टिविटीज़ हो रहे हैं, यहाँ पे लेबर वर्क हो रहा है, आप देख पा रहे हैं यहाँ पे, ठीक है. और यहाँ पे भी सेलिंग एक्टिविटीज़, डोर टू डोर सेलिंग एक्टिविटीज़ हो रही है. ओके स्टूडेंट्स, अब हम पेज नंबर 20 पे हैं. देर आर मैनी एक्टिविटीज़ दैट आर अंडरटेकन बाय डायरेक्टली यूजिंग नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज. नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज के ज़रिए बहुत सारे एक्टिविटीज़ किए जाते हैं. टेक फॉर एग्जांपल द कल्टीवेशन ऑफ कॉटन. कॉटन का ही कल्टीवेशन देख लीजिए. इट टेक्स प्लेस विद इन अ क्रॉप सीजन. एक क्रॉप सीजन पे वो होता है. फॉर द ग्रोथ ऑफ द कॉटन प्लांट वी डिपेंड मेनली बट नॉट एंटायरली ऑन नेचुरल फैक्टर्स लाइक रेनफॉल, सनशाइन एंड क्लाइमेट. द प्रोडक्ट ऑफ दिस एक्टिविटी कॉटन इज़ अ नेचुरल प्रोडक्ट. और ये जो प्रोडक्ट निकल के आता है वो क्या है? नेचुरल प्रोडक्ट है. सिमिलरली इन द केस ऑफ एन एक्टिविटी लाइक डेयरी वी आर डिपेंडेंट ऑन द बायोलॉजिकल प्रोसेस ऑफ द एनिमल्स एंड अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ फॉडर एक्सेट्रा. द प्रोडक्ट हियर मिल्क ऑल्सो इज़ अ नेचुरल प्रोडक्ट. मिल्क भी एक नेचुरल प्रोडक्ट है स्टूडेंट्स. सिमिलरली मिनरल्स एंड ओर्स आर ऑल्सो नेचुरल प्रोडक्ट्स. When we produce a good by exploiting natural resources, it is an activity of the primary sector. So जब goods produce होते हैं natural resources को exploit किए करने से उसे primary sector कहा जाता है. Why primary? This is because it form the base of all the other products. ये base है सारे products का that we subsequently make. Since most of the natural products we get are from agriculture, dairy, fishing, forestry, this sector is also called agriculture and related sector. The secondary sector covers activities in which natural products are changed into other forms through ways of manufacturing that we associated with industrial activity. और ये जो secondary sector है वो activity वो cover करता है जो natural products बनते हैं उनका change यानी कि other form में changes करना मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट के ज़रिए, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के ज़रिए उसे कहते हैं इंडस्ट्रियल एक्टिविटी, राइट. इट इज़ द नेक्स्ट स्टेप आफ्टर प्राइमरी. सेकेंड स्टेप हो वो प्राइमरी के बाद, इसलिए वो सेकेंडरी हो जाएगा. This product is not produced by nature but has to be made and therefore some process of manufacturing is essential. तो ये जो product है ये जो nature से produce नहीं होता है, इसे process करना पड़ता है manufacturing के लिए. जैसे cotton students, cotton को manufacture करना पड़ता है cloth बनाने के लिए. This could be in a factory, a workshop or at home. For example, using cotton fiber from the plant, we spin yarn and weave cloth. Using sugarcane as a raw material, we make sugar or gur. We convert earth into bricks and use bricks to make houses and buildings. Since this sector gradually became associated with the different kinds of industries that came up, it is also called as industrial sector. So ज़्यादातर goods and services का production यहाँ पे होता है, इसलिए हम इसे industrial sector भी कहते हैं. After primary and secondary, there is a third category of activities that falls under tertiary sector and is different from the above two. These are activities that help in the development of the primary and secondary sectors. So basically tertiary sector एक ऐसा sector है जो goods and services produce होते हैं वो final consumer तक पहुँचाता है. These activities by themselves do not produce a good, but they are an aid or a support for the production process. So ये जो activities है ये खुद से produce नहीं होते हैं, ये एक support tertiary sector उन्हें देता है production process में. For example, goods that are produced in the primary or secondary sector would need to be transported by trucks or trains and then sold in wholesale and retail shops. जो प्राइमरी एंड सेकेंडरी सेक्टर गुड्स प्रोड्यूस करते हैं उसे ट्रांसपोर्ट करना पड़ता है ट्रक्स एंड ट्रेन से, तब जाके वो होलसेल एंड रिटेल शॉप्स में बिकते हैं स्टूडेंट्स. At times it may be necessary to store these in godowns. We also may need to talk on others over telephone or send letters, communication, or borrow money from banks, which is banking, to help production and trade. Transport, storage, communication, banking, trade are some examples of tertiary activities. Since these activities generate services rather than goods, the tertiary sector is also called as the service sector. Service sector also includes some essential services that may not directly help in the production of goods. Service sector में वो सारे essential services भी आते हैं जो directly help नहीं करते होंगे production of goods. For example, we require teachers, doctors and those who produce personal services such as washermen, barbers, cobblers, lawyers and people to do administrative and accounting works. Correct? So ये भी एक service industry है. Teachers, doctors, washermen, barbers, lawyers, एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव एंड अकाउंटिंग वर्क करने के लिए ये भी सर्विस सेक्टर के अंदर आता है. इन रीसेंट टाइम सर्टेन न्यू सर्विस बेस्ड ऑन इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी सच एज इंटरनेट कैफ़े, ATM बूथ्स, कॉल सेंटर्स, सॉफ्टवेयर कंपनीज एक्सेट्रा हैव बिकेम इम्पॉर्टेंट. सो ये सारे सर्विस इंडस्ट्री में ग्रोथ हुई है और ये सारे सेक्टर्स इंपॉर्टेंट हुए हैं स्टूडेंट्स. ओके स्टूडेंट्स, अब हम पेज नंबर 22 पे हैं. कंपेयरिंग द थ्री सेक्टर्स. The various production activities in the primary, secondary and tertiary sector produce a very large number of goods and services. So ये जो production activities होते हैं primary, secondary और tertiary sectors में वो बहुत सारे goods and services को produce करते हैं. Also the three sectors have a large number of people working in them to produce these goods and services. The next step therefore is to see how much goods and services are produced and how many people work in each sector. Next step है देखना कि कितने goods and services produce हो रहे हैं और कितने लोग काम कर रहे हैं हर एक सेक्टर में. In an economy there could be one or more sectors which are dominant in terms of total production. कोई ऐसा सेक्टर हो सकता है जिसमें ज़्यादा लोग काम कर रहे हैं तो उससे क्या होता है, उसे डोमिनेट यानी कि सबसे ऊंचा क्षेत्र दिया जाता है. Unemployment, while other sectors are relatively small in size. बाकी सेक्टर्स हो सकते हैं जो छोटे हैं साइज में. ठीक है. How do we count the various goods and services and know the total production in each sector? कैसे हम काउंट करें goods and services को और total production हर सेक्टर में कैसे पता लगाएं? With so many thousands of goods and services produced, you might think this is an impossible task. Not only would the task be enormous का मतलब है huge, you might also wonder how we can add up cars and computers and nails and furniture. हम कैसे ऐड करेंगे cars, computers, nails, furniture को? It won't make sense. इसका कोई मतलब नहीं होगा. You're right in thinking so. To get around this problem, economists suggest that the values of goods and services should be used rather than adding up the actual number. ठीक है, जो value goods and services produce करता है वो लेना चाहिए rather than कितना produce हो रहा है actual numbers. For example, if 10,000 kgs of wheat is sold at 8 rupees per kg, the value of wheat will be 80,000. The value of 5,000 coconuts at rupees 10 would be 50,000. Similarly, the value of goods and services in the three sectors are calculated and then added up. तो calculate करके उनको add किया जाता है students. Remember, there is one precaution one has to take. Not every good or service that is produced and sold needs to be counted. हर एक good and service को count करना ज़रूरी नहीं है. It makes sense only to include the final goods and services, final product. Take for instance a farmer who sells wheat to a flour mill for rupees 8 kg. एक फार्मर एक फ्लोर मिल को 8 kg में वीट बेचता है. द मिल ग्राइंड्स द वीट एंड सेल्स इट फ्लोर टू अ बिस्किट कंपनी फॉर रुपीज़ 10 पर kg. और ये मिल क्या करता है, वीट को ग्राइंड करता है और उसे सेल करता है बिस्किट कंपनी को 10 रुपीज़ पर kg. द बिस्किट कंपनी यूजेस द फ्लोर एंड थिंग्स सच एज शुगर एंड ऑयल टू मेक 4 पैकेट्स ऑफ बिस्किट्स. सो शुगर एंड ऑयल का और फ्लोर का इस्तेमाल करके वो 4 पैकेट ऑफ बिस्किट्स बनाता है. इट सेल्स बिस्किट्स इन द मार्केट टू द कंज्यूमर्स फॉर रुपीज़ 60. 60 रुपये में वो बेचते हैं, रुपीज़ 15 पर पैकेट. बिस्किट्स आर द फाइनल गुड्स. बिस्किट्स फाइनल गुड्स हो जाते हैं, दैट इज गुड्स दैट रीच द कंज्यूमर. Why are only final goods and services counted? In contrast to final goods, goods such as wheat and the wheat flour in this example are intermediate goods, यानी बीच वाले goods है वो. Intermediate goods are used up in producing final goods and services. ठीक है. The value of final good already includes the value of all the intermediary goods that are used in making the final good. Final good बनाने के लिए जो value है intermediary goods का वो included होता है. Hence, the value of rupees 60 for the biscuits, which is final good, already include the value of the flour, rupees 10. Similarly, the value of all other intermediary goods would have been included. To count the value of the flour and wheat separately is therefore not correct, because then we would be counting the value of the same things a number of times. ठीक है, तो wheat और flour की अलग से value calculate करना ज़रूरी नहीं है, क्योंकि फिर हम 2 बार calculate कर देंगे या 2 से ज़्यादा बार calculate कर सकते हैं. First as wheat, then as flour and finally as biscuits. First wheat, फिर flour और फिर biscuit की value. The value of final goods and services produced in each sector during a particular year provides the total production of the sector for that year. और ये जो value है final goods and services produced each sector की during a particular year, वो total production हमें देता है. And the sum of production in the 3 sectors give us what we call it as GDP, which is gross domestic product. और उसका sum production हमें तीनों sectors का मिला के gross domestic product देता है. It is the value of all final goods and services produced within a country during a particular year. GDP shows how big the economy is. GDP हमें बताता है कि कितनी बड़ी economy है. In India, the mammoth task of measuring GDP is undertaken by a central government ministry. Mammoth यानी कि huge. Huge task of measuring GDP is taken by central government ministry. This ministry, with the help of various government departments of all the Indian states and union territories. So this ministry help लेती है बाकी government departments की and Indian states and union territories की. Collect information relating to total volume of goods and services and their prices and the estimate of GDP. ये करते हैं total volume कितना है goods and services का, उनके prices और estimates, और estimate करते हैं कि कितना GDP हो सकता है. Historical change in sectors. Generally, it has been noted from the histories of many now developed countries that is in initial stage of development, primary sector was the most important sector of economic activity. So बताया गया है कि history में बताया गया है कि जो अभी developed countries है उनके initial stage यानी starting stage development का primary sector was the most important sector economic activity के लिए. As the method of farming changed and agriculture sector became to prosper, it produced much more food than before. जैसे method आए नए नए farming के और agriculture sector जैसे बड़ा होने लग गया, ज़्यादा food production चालू हो गया था. Many people could now take up other activities. So बहुत सारे लोग बाकी activities भी लेना शुरू कर दिए. There were increasing number of craft person and traders. Craft person and traders की तादाद बढ़ रही थी. Buying and selling activities increased many times. Besides, there were also transporters, administrators, army, etc. However, at this stage, most of the goods produced were natural products from the primary sector, and most people were also employed in this sector. Over a long time, more than 100 years, and especially because new methods of manufacturing were introduced, factories came up and started expanding. So factories over the years क्या हो गया, came up and they started expanding, बड़े हो गए. Those people who had earlier worked on farms now began to work in factories in large numbers. People began to use many more goods that were produced in factories at cheaper rates. So people जो ज़्यादा goods use करने लग गए जो produce हो रहे थे factories में cheaper rates पे. Secondary sector gradually became the most important in total production and employment. So secondary sector most important हो गया total production and employment, लोगों को काम देने के लिए. Hence, over time, a shift had taken place. This means that the importance of the sectors has changed. So पहले primary sector था, अब जाके secondary sector important हो गया था. In the past 100 years, there has been a further shift from secondary to tertiary sector in developed countries. So developed countries में tertiary sector को importance देते हैं. The service sector has become the most important in terms of total production. Most of the working people are also employed in the service sector. This is the general pattern observed in developed countries. What is the total production and employment in the 3 sectors in India? Over the years, have there been changes similar to the pattern observed from the developed countries? We shall see in the next section. ओके स्टूडेंट्स, अब हम पेज नंबर 24 पे हैं. राइजिंग इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ द टर्शरी सेक्टर इन प्रोडक्शन. Over the 40 years between 1973-74 and 2013-14, while production in all the three sectors has increased, it has increased the most in the tertiary sector. As a result, in the year 2013 and 14, the tertiary sector has emerged as the largest producing sector in India, replacing the primary sector. ठीक है. Why is tertiary sector became so important in India? There could be several reasons. First, in any country, several services such as hospitals, educational institutes, post and telegraph services, police stations, courts, village administrative offices, municipal corporation defense, transport, banking, insurance companies, etc. are required. ज़्यादातर कंट्रीज़ में ये सारी चीज़ें रिक्वायर्ड होती है स्टूडेंट्स. These can be considered as basic services. ये basic services है जो हर कंट्री में होनी चाहिए. In a developing country, the government has to take responsibility for the provision of these services. Second, the development of agriculture industry leads to the development of services such as development of agriculture से क्या हुआ है? It has led to development of services such as transport, trade, storage and the like, as we have already seen. Greater the development of the primary and secondary sector, more would be the demand for such services. Third, as income level rise, certain sections of people start demanding many more services like eating out, tourism, shopping, private hospitals, private schools, professional training, etc. जैसे से इनकम बढ़ा लोगों का तो ये सारे अलग अलग सर्विसेज भी बढ़ गए. यू कैन सी दिस चेंज क्वाइट शार्पली इन सिटीज़, स्पेशली इन बिग सिटीज़. सो बड़े सिटीज़ में आपको ये चेंजेस देखने मिलेंगे स्टूडेंट्स. फोर्थ, over the past decade or so, certain new services such as those based on IT, which is information and communication technology, have become important and essential. So past decade से IT में काफ़ी प्रभाव छोड़ा है इंडियन इकोनॉमी पे. द प्रोडक्शन ऑफ दीज सर्विसेज हैज़ बीन राइजिंग रैपिडली. In chapter 4, we shall see examples of these new services and the reason for their expansion. However, you must remember that not all the service sector is growing equally well. सारे service sector equally well grow कर रहा है ऐसा नहीं है. Service sector in India employs many different kinds of people. At one end, there are limited number of services that employ highly skilled and educated workers. Limited services है जहाँ पे highly educated और skilled लोगों को लेते हैं students. At the other end, there is a very large number of workers engaged in services such as small shopkeepers, repair persons, transport persons, etc. These people barely manage to earn a living, and yet they perform these services because no alternative opportunities for work are available for them. So ये लोग अपने living के लिए लड़ रहे हैं और बेसिक सर्विसेज के लिए अपनी जगह बना रहे हैं बिकॉज कोई ऑल्टरनेट अपॉर्चुनिटी उनके पास नहीं है काम करने की. हेंस ओनली a part of this sector is growing in importance. You shall read more about this in the next section. Where are most of the people employed? Graph 2 present percentage share of the three sectors in GDP. Now you can directly see the changing importance of the sectors over the 40 years. A remarkable fact about India is that while there has been a change in the share of the three sectors in GDP, a similar shift has not taken place in employment. ठीक है, employment में changes नहीं हुआ है पर GDP में changes हो गए हैं. Graph 3 shows the share of employment in the three sectors in 1972 to 73 and 2011 and 12. The primary sector continues to be the largest employer even now. Primary sector में सबसे ज़्यादा employment आपको देखने मिलेगी. यहाँ पे आप ग्राफ देख पा रहे हैं 1972-73 में हाईएस्ट था प्राइमरी सेक्टर और 2011-2012 में हाईएस्ट था भी रहा है प्राइमरी सेक्टर. Why didn't a similar shift out of primary sector happen in case of employment? It is because not enough jobs were created in the secondary and tertiary sector. क्योंकि secondary और tertiary sectors में इतने jobs available नहीं थे students.